Need to mow my fucking lawns again. Pearl of fucking day, boys. Check it out. Fuck yeah. Welcome back. Another video. I've been messing around with the cars a little bit during the week, but I haven't been filming. But it was only been small shit. Toby, can you? What the fuck? Yeah, I haven't been doing anything major or anything big on the cars that was worth filming. Just putting shit together. But I had some stuff turn up finally for the Loza here. Just some more lines and fittings. I'll give you a quick rundown of what I've been doing during the week. I just plumbed up these lines with some spacers. I just got it clamped there. I've got the water line for the turbo, or the feed for the turbo, and the bleeder for the head here running behind this plate. Now I don't know if there's a cam gear back plate that's on these that goes behind these and bolts into there, and I'm not too sure if that actually goes down that far and covers this or not, so I've made this plate in the meantime anyway until we find out whether or not it goes down that far. If not, we'll just keep the plate there, so it just keeps the lines away from the cam belt and runs them behind there. I don't want to run them over the top of the motor here because it's PTFE and it's quite like it doesn't bend hectic as you would imagine, so to keep the bends quite, you know, nice and sweeping and not so tight that they kink over, because once you kink PTFE it's sort of fucking it'll just kink in that spot. It's hard to, you can't like unkink it out and then bend it straight again. It's, the kink's always there and it'll always just fold there. So I made this, I got the new fitting to go in there, black one. I made this alloy line that runs under the manifold there. I don't know if you can maybe see it down through there. Just bolts down through there, goes to the back here. I'm gonna tee that into that fitting there. I've got a just a piece of silicon like water line from Aeroflow here, that size. I thought this piece was meant to be 90 and whatever that bend is, like 130 or whatever, but it seems to be both aggressive bends. But I think this here looked like it was going to, yeah, like it was going to be 90 anyway. Doesn't stress it too much, so I'll cut a 90 out of that and put it on the back of the head there, and then I've got another fitting for the I just have to trim this down for the turbo feed, water feed, and then that's all plumbed up. I will put a one of these fittings here, 150 degree, one of these suckers, so that'll go on this line here like so, and then when old mate gets his head, not this head, this is just a dummy blocker motor, I'm sure you guys would know, but when he gets his head done at the machine shop, we'll just get a thread tapped in there and we'll get an adapter that goes from whatever thread it would be to AN4, yeah, AN4, and then we can just screw this fitting straight onto the adapter, and then that'll just bleed this corner of the head into the expansion tank. So yeah, so that whole side of the head there will be bled back to the expansion tank to get air out of it too. I personally, on my motor, I've just got these blanked off, and I don't really have too much issues, I don't believe. I haven't driven the car long enough to get a good gauge for it, but it doesn't get hot, but to stop any hot spots and whatnot, because the water's flowing from the water pump here into the block, it all gets pushed down through the cylinders, as you can imagine, and it's gonna raise up into the head, and since it bleeds out this side of the head, like there's a possibility that this right in this corner here where this fitting is, if it's blocked off, that it gets a slight air pocket, and then once the air pocket's there and the water's, you know, bouncing off the air pocket and like not compressing it because the air can't go anywhere obviously, it's possible that that little spot there gets like hot, and we all know that hot spots in your motor is not good because it can get detonation. So yeah, maybe that's what happened with my motor when I first blew it up. I had detonation on cylinder 1 that broke my piston, so did that to a forged piston. So maybe that's what that was. Maybe I've just found it out. Maybe that that there has to be bled to get the air out. Maybe I had a hot spot in the corner of the head there and it got hot and was detonating. Food for thought. Maybe I'll change it on my car. But anyway, carrying on. I don't know if I showed you this. I made that pot up there for the expansion tank to bleed into, sorry. Kind of like how all factory cars are. You know, your radiator goes into an overflow and then it sucks in and out. So yeah, I've got some fittings to just run the line, a dash 4 line from there to there. Fill that with water. It might need a hole on the top just to overflow out. Because our factory car doesn't have a sealed lid. It sort of just has a plastic cap that clips over, but it's also got a hose that goes in the top and then out again, just vents to, you know, the floor. So whether or not, might run it without that and just see how it goes for the meantime, and decide whether or not we need to put a hole in the top and sort of vent a hose over the, like a little hose to hang over or something like that. But yeah, so for today I've just got some clamps, so I'll put some clamps on these. I'll just do some fittings and plumb all that stuff up, and nothing too interesting. And then that's pretty much going to be all the water done, apart from this hose here. I've still got a hose for this, so I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So if anyone has any ideas of what hose would go from there to there with a step up, if anyone's got a car that they recognise that's got a hose like that, hit me up. I'm thinking like an SR20, but might not be long enough. But yeah, so yeah, just got some hose clamps, some hose, some fittings to do for now. As for the the drive belt tensioner, we've got an RB one here. I know we're putting RB parts on a fucking JZ. It's gonna make it less reliable, but it's the only thing that was gonna fucking work. Little dig at the other boys there. So there's the RB cam belt tensioner. This is just a second-hand one that I've borrowed off the guy that owns this actually. So we're gonna try it out. It's too long. Normally it's about that high. I've trimmed it with the grinder roughly to get our height where it's gonna go, like it's gonna be bolted up. I don't know if you can see past my fucking fat fingers there, but bolted up to the bracket that I've got there. So I'll put a hole in the thread in there, and we'll get that sitting so it's in line with the pulleys, and then we'll get a belt that fits, and then obviously you can just put an Allen key in there. Since it's eccentric, it'll roll around the center of the bolt and tension the belt. So once I get this to size, I'll put it in the mill square, and we'll just hack off the top so it's nice and square when it bolts up. I just have to find a good place to put it that doesn't interfere with the outside. Mind you, he'll run a ATI damper on this thing, so it won't have the big bulkiness on the back, so they're quite a lot smaller. I think they're only the same size as this internal piece, the ATIs, from memory, but I'll double check. But if I mount it just as far away from it as possible, it's not going to hurt the alternator being over this far. So yeah, I'll pull that bracket off, and once I get this trimmed up, I'll pull the bracket off and put a hole in there and thread it, and then that'll be that done. I'll just have to find a belt, but kind of need to know the pulley, like the size, like because I don't know if you know this, but belts are measured. So it's a 6 PK belt, which is 6 ribs, but they're measured, the numbers after it is the length of the belt. So like a 6 PK 1000 is a 1000 millimeter long belt. So what I've done in the past to find a belt for my car is get that all sorted out like that, and just get a piece of rope or something and just wrap it around and hold it tight to the ends. Or even like I've actually got a flexible tape that I use for fucking like bodybuilding stuff, like measure your size of your arms and shit. Sound like vain as fuck here, but it's a flexible tape, so maybe you can wrap that around and then see how long that is, and then we know that we need a 6 PK, whatever the number is. So that'll work out good actually. Having a lot of revelations right now. Yeah, so I'll get onto that for today. I'll show you what's going on with the Skyline too, but just once I get all these bags and shit off, because my work space is a mess at the moment. Once I get those all done on this Laurel, I'll show you what I've done on the Skyline as well, because I've done a couple of things since last video on the Skyline. As you can see, the bumper's sort of on and quite sturdy now. It just needs some trimming, but yeah, we'll get into that. Also, I'm going to be cutting out some top hats for the black S13 that's here as well, or not here, but that I had. I've got some top hats drawn up for that, some not Wisefab top hats. So yeah, I dressed them up and I got a bit of plate. I'm gonna leave that plate. Oh, right here. So we're gonna cut some new ones out of this on the mill. So it might be a bit noisy in here when I do some filming later on, just because this is gonna be running, and I think the cut time was a little while, a couple hours. So yeah, bear with me. But yeah, I'm gonna crack into it all and get them fucking done. Fucking push up. Alright, I've done some plumbing up. That one's probably, I know it angled work nice there, but if we knighted it down it would hit the manifold too much. We'll come too close to the manifold. I don't think it's overly bad here. I think we'll get away with that. Run down through there. I thought I ordered a fitting for that, but apparently I fucking didn't have it on the list. So yeah, I'll leave the red one on there for now, just for like fitment purposes. We got that other one on there. So that'll thread onto an AN fitting that gets pressed in there. Hopefully there's enough slack in that for when the motor twists. I think there should be. This whole thing's should move with it anyway, so if not, might have to just move this clamp back a bit further, like pull the lines on the clamp a bit more just to give it a little bit of slack, but we'll see how it goes. I just put some hose clamps on the water pump pipes. I made that one. I got 2 straights for this, but I think I'm going to revise it and get a like an angled one for this one, because it comes around too far and it sort of looks gross going like that, and so I might have it so it comes around and get just an angle. I think they do like 30-degree fitting, because I think 45 would be too much, so I think if I get a 30-430 and then we can aim it down a little bit, then it's look a bit tidier. So yeah, that. The hose I got for the back is probably one that goes on, that one that's going to go from that fitting there to the pipe I've made. It's probably slightly too loose for my liking, like it slips over a bit too easy. I think I might get the next size down. That was a 19mm, I think, ID pipe, or 3/4 or something, so I might see what the next size down is and see if that's going to work a bit better, because it wasn't, yeah, I really don't want that one to blow, because it's in a kind of a, well, not a kind of a spot, but not a spot you want to be working on in a hurry at a track day, so I want to make sure that one's proper. So yeah, what else was I going to do? Oh yeah, I'm going to fucking get the tensioner sorted up on there, so I'll give it a measure and a trim up, and then I'll trim it up on the with the face mill on the mill. Hopefully I can hold this somehow, because if I have it flat, obviously the center spins, so I might have to clamp the center somehow and then mill it, but we'll figure something out. Alright, I got my face mill on, this big sucker. What I'm going to do is just put a bolt through it, Allen key head one, so it can, since the bolt hole's offset, like you can't actually do up a regular bolt, so put that through the middle, and then I'll clamp that into one of the blocks that go in the slots here. So I'll just bolt it straight to the table, and that way this here is clamped hard to the table instead of the bearing being clamped and then this chattering around with the slight play that's in the bearing. So should machine up good. So I actually got it pretty square with the grinder initially. Only took like 2 passes off the backside and it was fucking now flush. So I'll take this off and we'll test it on there, see what the clearance is like. We'll see what the space out is like, I mean, not the clearance. So if we hang that on our alley block there, yeah, looks pretty square. Might be in a little bit maybe. Oh no. Yeah, sweet. I will mark that roughly where I want it to sit, put a hole in there and thread it in there, and then see what I've got a long ass belt here. Might just dummy one, like put it all around and then like tighten the end of it, just see how it all sits. Got a hole and a thread made, so I've bolted it back up, put the tensioner on there. I'll just get a belt and see how it all lines up. Alright, so this is my extra long belt that I have of the actual my car. So this one's going to be this short, so I've just pinched it just to see if it all lines up nicely that way, and to see if the tension is nice and square on it. So it's looking pretty sweet. So what I'll do is I'll measure that with the actual tape, and we'll see what sort of belt we need. Yeah, so how that's sitting, so you should be able to, well, not me, but crack the centre bolt, put the Allen key in there and twist that pulley up into the belt, and it should tension it pretty good. So yeah, there we go, pretty good. So I got me tape here, my flexible tape. So I've just wrapped around where the belt will route, like so, and put a bit of tension on it. We've got about, what is that? What is up with this tape? Why is 27 in there randomly? You guys see that? It goes 73, 74, 75, 76, 27, 78. Fuck, that was confusing. So we've got about we'll say 790. Bit of slack there just so you can get it over. So if we go 790, about if we can get a 6PK 790, somewhere about there, we should be pretty on. So I'll see what I can find for that and see how it fits up. Alright, I can't find a belt in town today, so I'm going to have to get something sorted out for next week. 790 is probably hard to get. 800 is a lot more common, seems more common. So get a 6PK 800 and that should work out pretty good for there. So yeah, that's pretty much that done. Probably wants a longer bolt though, because I didn't have a bolt that went right through the alley. It's probably about, I don't know, 3mm shorter going right through, but I think it can protrude right through on the back side. I don't think there's anything stopping it from going right through, so I might get something that's about 10mm longer than the current one that's in there, just so it's got a little bit of extra strength there. So yeah, that's that done. Some lines, yada yada. So what's the time right now? I want to cut these top hats out, but the cutting time for cutting them out is like 2 hours or something, or 2 or 3 hours. So I don't know whether or not I can fucking let it run for that long. But anyway, for now I'll show you what I've done with the Skyline. Set that there. Alright, cut that boot off. What have I showed you since last time? I think I showed you that I made this, did I show you guys this? I'm not sure if I showed you this sender unit. I might have put it on Instagram, but I don't think I've filmed it, have I? I made this sender unit. Cut that plate out on the middle. Got these studs that go through for the terminals for this potentiometer. They are just nylon, I think, in the middle there, so it doesn't touch against the steel. So they're insulated. So yeah, just a bit of angle, just for a bit of strength, so it didn't flap around. I thought if a bit of flat bar was on there, it would wobble a little bit, so the angle's there just to give it a bit of strength. So that turned out good. I just need to find a gasket, or make a gasket, sorry, but I need to find one that's rated for fuel. I want to get whatever these are. These ones here look pretty good, so I have to find this stuff and cut one out. So yeah, the center turned out pretty good. Goes that way, nice and easy to put in. Also, so this is the pickup pump that goes into the surge, that pumps into the surge tank. So for now I've just put the his old pickup pump on the bottom, on the base of this here. I've just cable tied it here just for the depth before we make something up to house it a bit better. Whether or not we actually make something really sturdy or we just hose clamp that there, because the factory one's got that little lip on that thing on the bottom there which sits under it, but obviously I can't cut that off and weld it to that because that's alley, that's steel. So whether or not I can cut that shape out on the mill or something and weld it to the bottom here to hold it better, but it still needs something to stop it from doing that. But in saying that, the hose does hold it steady, so I don't know, I think we'll see how we get on. I don't think oh mate, he is too worried about it just being hose clamped there, so we'll see how we for time with whenever he wants it back. I don't think it's too stressed anyway. So yeah, so that's that. So the pump obviously pumps over to the surge tank in the corner there. So pumps into this. It might be a bit hard to get out because I think they've made it quite tight with this pickup here on it. There we go. So this is the surge tank pickup. They've had 2 pumps. Well, I don't know if they've had 2 pumps in there because I've blocked that one off. So I have a feeling I've had 1 pump in there, which feeds out of that one. That's the return line from the motor. Just dumps back into the tank, and then the option for the second one there if you wanted to run it. But we don't have an in-tank pump. But what we do have is an external pump here, this one. So what I'm going to do is, because these are just hard lines with fittings, this is they just had these, because he brought this tank, it wasn't made, like he doesn't know anything about it, so he just brought it off a guy who knows. So they've had this line here, the pump on the bottom clamps in here. So what I'm thinking about doing is we'll just reuse these fittings here, and I'll just buy some more of this alloy line here. I think it's I can't remember the size. I looked it up the other day and I've seen the size. I'm going to want to run some on my car. I want to replace because I've got PTFE on my car, but as you know with like those lines, when you run them along the chassis rail, like you've got a clamp and then you've got an X clamp, but they always sag, and when you look under it, you've always just got this like wavy looking line because it's only you don't want to run fucking 100 clamps under there to hold it all steady. So I've seen a car recently that had hard lines and it looked real tidy and it made it look real fucking professional, like way more professional than the braided like PTFE. So I think I'm going to replace the stuff in my car once it's back with hard line, make it all look tidy. So I'll just buy a whole length of fucking, you can buy this from Aeroflow for like, you buy like a fucking 9 meter roll of it or something. So I'll just buy a whole roll to use for my car and just pinch a bit to make a extension off here that'll go to the bottom of the tank, and then from there, since it's in the tank right at the bottom, what we can do is mount this pump. I'll make a plate up that sits in here, and we'll sit the pump here, and then the pump can just pull from this line, which will obviously be pulling right from the bottom of the surge tank, so it's no different than if you had a surge tank. Rather though, when you have a surge tank, you pull from normally they have a bung at the bottom. Mind you, there is actually a drain bung there. I wonder if we just, because it was just drain the surge tank, I wonder if we just pull a line out of that bung instead. Then we don't have to even run anything on here, we can just cap them all off. Oh, not that one, sorry, we can just cap that one off, pull out of the bottom of the surge tank, because it's pretty much at the bottom, and then just run a line straight up right here. That way the fuel pressure is always like sitting on top and it's pushing into the, you know, when the pump's not even running, or you always got fuel pushing sitting in it, as opposed to if it's trying to suck uphill, you'll always be a little bit of an airlock once the car's not running for a little bit in the top of the line. Not that that matters, but yeah. Maybe I'll pull it out of there actually, that's a good idea. Because that's a dash 8 fitting too by the looks of it. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. So we'll pull it out of there and run the pump here on a plate. Then they've actually made a cutout in the bottom of this tank here, as you can see. So the factory lines are actually back there somewhere, so we better run the factory lines, well not the factory lines, sorry, because the factory lines do end. But what I'm what I'm trying to say is the factory lines are the hard lines still, but we can get the AN adapters that go hardline to AN. So I've got 2 of those coming. So from back there it'll be AN, and then we'll run the lines under this groove that's cut out up into the pump and into there. So that'll work out right. We'll just need an adapter for that because it's a dash 8, and if we only got dash 6 return, we'll have to go dash 8 to dash 6, so it's all dash 6 instead. And that's a dash 6 feed as well out of there, but it's a dash 8 pickup. So here we've got a bucket of fittings and stuff, and I've got some lying around that hopefully should make it all work without having to buy too much extras. So yeah, that's that. Fuck, I rambled on about that for a little while, shit. So I've done that, and I mounted the bumper into the it's a bit crude because the bumper's not that similar So I've got my I've got a pickup there that bolts through to the side of the bumper there, with what's left of that fucking little lip, and as you can see it's like there, but on this side we had material up further, so I made it up off the pipe higher, so it's not actually in the same spot, but you're not going to see it. So the bumper's actually nice and sturdy on the frame, internal frame now, so you can actually pull it on and off and it doesn't fucking move. And we'll probably still utilize these sides just to keep these from flapping when you're fucking doing speed. So yeah, that's come out nice. I'm thinking about actually just off the headlight mounts here, just running another bit of like 8mm solid bar down the side here, just to hold that guard out, because it's got a big air gap there just because of the shape of everything. So if I hold that guard out like that, it'll actually make the line a bit better and not look so fucking hoary. So that's that. But yeah, that's it for the Skyline really. I'm just waiting for the hardlines to turn up. I ordered them the other day. I was hoping they'll be here today with the other shit that turned up, but they haven't. So whether or not there's a Saturday courier, I haven't seen a Saturday courier. I'm clutching straws with that actually. I haven't seen a Saturday courier in fucking years now, so we know that's still a thing. So we might have to wait till next week for that. But yeah, that and with the Skyline as well, he wants to redo the intercooler piping. I'm not sure if I told you guys that in a previous video. He's given me a bin that he found spare, and we're going to redo the intercooler piping. So I'm going to flip the intercooler back so the tank outlets are down the bottom again, because he wants to run wants to run headlights on this thing. He's always just had covers, and like covers just look gross, I reckon, in my opinion, and he agrees that they look shit. So it's nice to have an actual glass headlight, you know, with the bulbs and everything, because you know, you can run the bulbs and shit, and fucking if there's ever like a twilight drift and you have to have lights or something, I know it's nice to have the headlights. I reckon it makes the car look more complete and not so. What are you doing, dog? You're just sitting there staring at me like a weirdo. So yeah, those pipes actually get in the way of the headlight mounts, so we're gonna probably chop out that that bottom section of the guard here on both sides, because it's all rusty anyway, so he wants to just get rid of it. So we'll probably just trim all that out, leave the top frame here and the headlight pickups, and just chop all the bottom out, and then run the pipes, you know, much like the Laurel, down through here and into the tank. So that should allow him to run the headlights. Be a cool little extra for the Skyline. So yeah, both cars are almost pretty, you know, there's not much more to do on them actually. Couple things to nip up on the Laurel. I just want to put one extra exhaust hanger in to support the weight of that exhaust, since it's only got the one at the front and the back like I showed you. I just want to put the extra one right in the middle-ish, just to hold the weight a bit more, keep it off the ground as best as possible. So there's that. I've just got to add one more little bend to the turbo drain, since we figured out that the drain sits back by the engine mount further, so that angle's a bit wrong. So one of those, top pipe, and that's pretty much it really for the Laurel. It can be done, I think, off the top of my head. Yeah. Oh, that's right, the other thing we've got to do on the Skyline, I was seeing him the other day, he wants the exhaust lengthened, because the exhaust finishes pretty much at the diff flange, so where the dry shaft goes on. So it angles down, it's got like a little dumpy on it, but we sort of thought that since the fuel tank's like here and exposed, and like you know, we've seen issues with fucking fuel vapor sitting in either here or like on shit, it's probably not a good idea to have the exhaust, because this thing pops and shit, so it's probably not a good idea to have fuel and that stuff mixed. So we're going to lengthen the exhaust, well, I'm going to lengthen the exhaust on it, so it shouldn't be too bad. Get in here. I know you won't see it through here probably, because I can't even see it, but it's at the diff flange there, so pretty much just going to have a straight pipe come out of there, come out here, and then we'll do what we did on the Laurel here and just have it come out in a little bit of a turn down. So yeah, I have to get some 3-inch for that, because it's a 3-inch exhaust, and I have to get probably put a V-band on it just so it's nice and easy to get on and off. So if you need to do a diff or something. So yeah, I have to get a V-band. Unless I got one here, I don't know, I'll search around. But yeah, we'll be doing that as well. So I made a panel that's going to bolt in this big square here for the fuel pump to mount to. This is the panel here. I just put some swaging in it to strengthen it, because it's just panel steel. And I don't want to put like 3mm in there, because it's bulky, and I don't know. This is better. Looks better. I just made up some random pattern and put a dimple die in the hole in the end there for the lines to run through, just to so it's not a sharp edge. So that'll just sit in, I don't know, like that. So I'll tack that in there, make sure it looks sweet. Right, that's it welded in there, got the pump bolted up. So now we can make some lines up, run them through there. Should be enough to run 2 -6s. There's 2 -6s here, so yeah, plenty. And they got a nice chamfer to rub against, even though they got braid on the outside. But it's nice not to have sharp edges, makes it look professional. So yeah, sweet. Alright, I said I was going to run the pickup off that bottom bung, but I thought if we had a line that came around here and sort of looped, it was like in the firing line of bullshit, and I didn't want it to get hit, so it's a bit more safer here. So we'll run it here, it should be okay. Alright, I was just editing the video before and realised that there was a lot of filming that I had thought I'd done that didn't record or something, so I know what was going on there. But yeah, anyway, I finished up with the Skyline with that plate. I'm waiting on some lines now to turn it up. I'll have to order some tonight, hopefully they get sent out tomorrow to finish up that. Then we can, because the Skyline runs, I believe, so once the fuel's plumbed up we can run it, and I'll be able to drive it out onto the roadside and turn it around, and then we can do the front for the intercooler piping. So it's up here. I ended up getting these top hats cut out as well, so they turned out pretty good. Well, you know, as good as can be for just that little mill there. So that was that. I ended up getting the laurel off the ground and welding another bracket in the middle there for the exhaust to bolt onto. I've just got this plate, I don't know if you probably see that, just a plate with 2 nuts welded onto it, and they've drilled through the floor, and the bottom side just another piece of like 5mm strap with a bar that the hanger can sit on, and then I've just welded another hanger onto the exhaust, so it's propped up in 3 places now on the laurel, so it'll be nice and tight and sturdy. So yeah, that was that. So for now we're done. I just have to organise some little bits, some extra little fittings, like I said before, another 30° for that, and another black one of that, and some hose for the back one, and yeah, she'll be pretty much all nipped up. So the laurel's was really close to being all finished for the time being. So that's cool. So yeah, the video, I've seen what the time was up to before when I was editing, and it was getting up to about half an hour or something. So yeah, we'll call it there. We'll carry on in the next video with nipping these up and doing some fuel system and the piping for that, and whether or not the laurel's here in the next video or not, or if the Easterding's back or my car, I don't know, we'll find out in a couple of weeks anyway. But yeah, anyway, cheers for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, blah 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 blah. We will catch you in the next one. Peace out.